7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You'll never have the sacred stone.
Oh, this you crazy mother.
Alright, welcome back, y'all, to the Real Evvonne. Just wanted to bring this to y'all. FEMA camps, horrifying reality, suicide confession, federal prisoners to be gassed to death. Okay? Every federal prison has been outfitted with lethal gas systems. When things go bad, all prisoners in all prisons will be placed in their cells on lockdown. Prison staff will depart the facility, and a certain designated person will trigger a lethal gas system. You can see it right here. All federal prisoners, regardless of their crime or their sentence, will be gassed to death in their cells. Once the gas clears, the dead will be removed, and the prisons will then be used to house citizens who fight against the federal onslaught. FEMA camps as death camps for American citizens is just too incomprehensible. But after writing a lengthy suicide note exposing these terrifying plans the government has for American citizens, a U.S. Customs agent walked into a pier in New York City and blew his brains out. FEMA, like other branches of this government, will quickly cover up any detail from which anyone can begin to trace back to the truth of the facts. Sources inside the New York City Police Department revealed to Superstation 95 the contents of a suicide note found on the body, and they are terrifying. The note, which was written over the course of a full week in advance, outlines why the officer chose to shoot himself. Apparently this is it, so I'm quoting. The America I grew up in and cherished has been murdered by its own federal FEMA camp government. Our Constitution has become meaningless and our laws politicized so badly they are no longer enforced except for political purposes, the note said. Our elected officials are, to a person, utterly corrupt and completely devoid of any love or respect for the country which pays them. To them, everything is about getting and keeping power and making illicit money from backroom deals. I was hired to enforce the law, to capture and deport people who come to this country against our laws. But now, if I dare to do that, I face being suspended or fired because our president refuses to faithfully execute the duties of his office. Instead, I come to work each day and collect a paycheck twice a month for intentionally doing little to nothing. I cannot and will not be party to this fraud, to this usurpation of the law, or to the despicable politicians betraying our nation. The 42-year-old U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement deportation officer shot himself with a .40 caliber service pistol inside Pier 40 in Hudson River Park at around 11 a.m. A source at the scene described how the officer calmly walked into the park, took out his pistol, and shot himself in the head. He worked at U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement deportation officer, and his offices were not far from the scene of the shooting. This agent also knew the truth about FEMA camps. He was rushed to the hospital, but doctors were unable to save him. ICE released a statement which read, "Tragically, a U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement deportation officer from the New York field office suffered a self-inflicted gunshot wound and has passed away." It added, "The agency is not releasing further details pending notification of the officer's next of kin." The news of the agent's apparent suicide was first reported by the New York City Park Advocates. Jeffrey Croft reported an unidentified source as saying it was heartbreaking. Croft said there were visitors to the park just a few feet away from the shooting scene. One source told the Daily Mail's Alexandra Genova that the agent walked calmly into the park, took out his pistol, and shot himself in the head. No motive for the apparent suicide was released pending the result of the department's investigation. The agent worked at a field office in Lower Manhattan, just blocks away from his death. So I already read to you all. In the note, the officer revealed what he claimed are terrifying plans the feds have been finalizing. So to you all who think that this stuff is not real, this New World Order and all that, pay attention because it's very real, unfortunately. So I'm quoting now more from that letter. If the American people knew what this government is planning, they would rise up and overthrow it. If I or anyone else in the federal government revealed what is coming, we would be killed anyway. So now I will reveal what I know. We in federal law enforcement have been drilling for several years to control riots and uprisings from a coming financial collapse. What did I talk about in my live? And widespread bank failures. The drills involve life-size images of American men, even women and children, whom we are told to shoot for practice and to get used to it. We have been told that the economy is terminally ill and will fail in 2016. See, that's what they was told. We were also told the banks are all insolvent and the FDIC doesn't have nearly enough funds to bail out depositors. We are told these events are unavoidable, and it is imperative that the government survive when people rise up over this. Now, I told y'all before about martial law. They just waiting for the perfect moment to fully enact it. Okay? I'll do another video as far as, the FEMA's the blueprint for the martial law plans. But when a collapse takes place, detention camps created under the FEMA REX 84 program in the 1980s to house illegal aliens whom we were going to deport will instead be used to imprison American citizens whom the government feels constitute a threat. American citizens will be rounded up without warrants and imprisoned without trial for God knows how long. In case you didn't know that Obama signed that too into law, allowing this. Okay? The note goes on to say, talk about state level National Guard being disarmed by the feds and over 1 billion rounds of ammunition purchased by the feds and the military over deployed and being shrunk. The government knows the military will rise up to stop this. So our military is being deployed overseas, intentionally involved in foreign fights, and deliberately shrunk in size so they cannot be here or help Americans. Yeah, because have you never even questioned that? They so quick to send all our, military outside of the U.S. But what about here? Pay attention. This is why certain ammunition and weaponry has been removed from state-level National Guard armories. And over 1 billion rounds of hollow point ammunition has been bought by the federal government. The states themselves have been disarmed of military-grade firepower so they cannot defend themselves from the federal activities. This is also why local police departments have been militarized. I've talked about this. I'm like, they look like they in the military. They don't look like cops no more. They straight up look like they in the military. And FEMA, MAL can provide it with armored vehicles and weapons of war. And I've seen that to y'all. Come on now. I know y'all seen these vehicles in your neighborhoods. So when an inevitable collapse begins to take place, electric power to the entire country will be shut off, as will all forms of communication. This is what, all banks will be immediately closed. No one will be able to get any money because all ATMs will be offline. Why do you think they want to be trying to move everything cashless? I know the money ain't worth face value, but I'm just saying. Credit, debit, and EBT cards will not function. Anyone without cash will have no way to get any. The emergency alert system will be used to take over all broadcast stations and tell the public this is a result of a cyber attack. Okay. But while the American people patiently await things to get back to normal, the government will unleash roundups of citizens they deem militant or dangerous, with all civilian communications out and all TV and radio stations taken over by the emergency alert system. By the time the word spreads of what has taken place, the government will already have the upper hand. Okay? Every federal prison has been outfitted with lethal gas systems. When things go bad, our prisoners in all prisons will be placed in their cells on lockdown. Prison staff will depart the facility and a certain designated person will trigger a lethal gas system. All federal prisoners, regardless of their crime or their sentence, will be gassed to death in their cells. Now, I already talked about this in the beginning, but I just want to say it again so it sinks in to what is really going on, what they have planned. These evil people are very patient, in case you wonder why hasn't anything happened yet. Oh, it will. Also, don't think because you in the military, if you didn't hear about this, you don't know. They don't want you to know everything either. There's levels to all of this type of stuff. Remember that. Executive Order 13603. Now, remember what I said about Obama? So you don't want to believe me? Let me read it for you. Executive Order 13603. The suicide note goes to great lengths about Executive Order 13603, signed by President Obama on March 16, 2012. The note details Executive Order 13603 about national defense resources preparedness. This 10-page document is a blueprint for a federal takeover of the economy. Specifically, Obama's plan involves seizing control of all commodities and products that are capable of being ingested by either human beings or animals, all forms of energy, all forms of civil transportation, all usable water from all sources, health resources, drugs, biological products, medical devices, materials, facilities, health supplies, services, and equipment, forced labor, or induction, as the executive order delicately refers to military conscription. Okay? Look at that map. Your locations of these FEMA concentration camps. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put the link to this article in the description box so you can, come back here and further, look at this and read other stuff. But bottom line is, much of this language has appeared in national security executive orders that previous presidents have issued. But more than previous national security executive orders, Obama's 13603 seems to describe the potentially totalitarian regime, obsessed with control over everything. Obama's executive order makes no effort to justify the destruction of liberty, no effort to explain how amassing control would enable government to deal effectively with cyber sabotage, suicide bombings, chemical warfare, nuclear missiles, or other possible threats. There's nothing in Executive Order 13603 about upholding the Constitution or protecting civil liberties. In what circumstances, one might ask, will the presidents try to carry out these audacious plans? Executive Order 13603 says, during the full spectrum of emergencies. The suicide note also touches on the subject of preppers. We in federal law enforcement have also been told that the government has a full database of all so-called preppers. Those people will be dealt with first by armed federal agents coming to take their guns, then their food stocks, so food can be redistributed as the government sees fit. Gotta wake up, y'all. Time to wake up. If you are still asleep, wake up. Wake up. I'm telling you that. People focus on the wrong thing, you got to pay attention. But hey, then again, people going to pay attention to what matters to them. So you can keep thinking this is a joke if you want to. But it's real. I promise you that. Unfortunately, nobody wants this to be real, but it is. And don't be thinking preppers are crazy, because they not. What does God tell you in your Bible? Don't get caught without no oil in your lamp. If you're new here and you want the truth, make sure you subscribe and hit that bell so you're notified every time I upload. But besides that, because YouTube be blocking, so just make sure you look me up, or whoever your favorite YouTuber is, on a daily basis or however often you get on YouTube, to come and check out, because I upload, if not every day, I damn sure upload every week, several times. So don't miss an upload, because we are in serious times and this information needs to get out. So like, share, subscribe. See y'all next video. Stay woke. Hey, if you're tired of being lied to and you want the truth, then this is the channel for you. So please hit the subscribe button now and hit the bell so you don't miss any of my uploads. Thank you.